Welcome all to the Right for California watch along to the season opener for the Cal men's basketball team, led by Mark Fox in his second year. I'm one of your hosts from Right for California, Rob. Alongside us is always our editor in chief, our leader in chief, our basketball in chief, Nick. Nick, how you
Hey
doing?
everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just got back from a trip to the mountains, hence the vaguely rugged looking 4 days of stubble, cleansing the 0-2 football start out of my system, and hoping for a little bit better luck on the basketball side of things. We did manage to see a bear cub while out in the Sierra Nevadas. Hopefully that is a positive omen for things to come.
That's probably the perfect metaphor because this is a very, very young Cal team that we're about to watch today. Um, First time in a while, I believe, that we won't have a high usage starting point guard, if I'm looking at my stats correctly, which is kind of strange. So let's, I mean, we have a few minutes before the game starts, so let's talk about what our expectations are for this Cal team going into this year. I think that was the point for me that was huge. Was our last 3 point guards consisted of Paris Austin, before that Darius McNeil, before that Ty Wallace, all three guys, and before that Justin Cobbs. All four guys probably with the highest shoot first, pass later type of mentality that we've had in quite some time. And then, but we haven't had a guy who's pass first and facilitating first before a shot taker. And it looks like if Joel Brown is starting tonight, like he's arguably the most facilitator type point guard we've had in a while. So I'm excited to see a point guard that has that aspect and is looking to do that more.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if that's what you get, because it's possible that the direction this team goes in is Mikhail Foreman as primary ball handler and point guard, and he is very much in the mold of a Paris Austin, a Justin Cobbs, in that he is like he had more turnovers than assists last year with Stony Brook. Not necessarily because he's a turnover machine, but because he looks for his shot, and so that we could get that this year, and it'll be interesting to see how Mark Fox handles that. I mean, Foreman's going to have to play some point guard because Joel Brown is not going to be playing 40 minutes. But will Mikhail get 30, 35 minutes at point and Joel Brown's role decrease, or will he play lots of off guard? That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Oh, it's time to start finding out.
Well, we know who our talking about that. We know who our starting lineup is. As we were talking, it showed
All
up
right.
on the stats site. Our starting lineup consists of guard Ryan Betley, guard Joel Brown, guard Matt Bradley, forward Grant Anticevic, and center Lars Tiemann.
Interesting. So no Mikhail Foreman in the starting lineup. When I was doing my preseason preview, I kind of picked six guys, as sort of guys who I knew for sure would be part of the rotation. Sorry, say again who was starting at center?
Lars.
Oh, interesting. Lars was not necessarily one of the guys I was 100% sure would be a major part of the rotation, though pretty confident. I'm a little bit surprised to see Lars Tiemann starting over Andre Kelly. Of course, Mark Fox stuck with Lars in the starting lineup even when Kelly was getting more minutes. Who's starting isn't necessarily who Mark Fox thinks are his best 5 players. So I'm trying not to read too much into the starting lineup. But interesting, nevertheless, that the guys who are starting are going to be part of the rotation for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I think this is the first time in quite some time where we don't have any grasp of what the rotation is going to look like. We do know, Matt Bradley is going to be our huge guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, it's literally a question mark. Like, are we going to lean on the grad transfers more? And I'm one of in the camp of I hope not. I hope the grad transfer guys are more of a safety net than an actual, like, we're going to rely on them to win games. And then we, try and push some of the young guns to play, particularly guys like Monty Bowser, who I have extremely high hopes for. So,
Yeah.
1 second, as we add one of our other writers, Alex Khalifa, to the stream. He is joining
Hi
us.
there.
Hey, Alex.
He's our LA correspondent, basically, out in Southern California. Alex, how are you
Yep.
doing? How are you doing this afternoon? Ready for some Cal
Pretty
basketball?
well. Looking forward to a competitive game, hopefully.
Hopefully is the key word. I think a lot of people are stressing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen OSU below Cal on some rankings, so we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks the Vegas line seems to indicate that they think Cal is better, but home field advantage may swing it towards Oregon State. So hopefully we can win the
Yeah, this
game
is the year
despite
of-
being on the road.
Yeah, of non-home field advantage, even though you're technically home.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nick and I were just talking about the team and what we think the team composition might look like. Do you have any thoughts to that, Alex, from your studies of this roster?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Ryan Bentley brings. I mean, has a reputation as a shooter, and I've had a lot of luck with Ivy League players on my fantasy league rosters in the past. So and obviously Cal has had a couple of recent guys too who have come in from the Ivy League and I think held up pretty well. So yeah, he should be a good addition to the fold, certainly.
Yeah, with Bentley, I'm most curious to see. I think, he has multiple years of evidence that he can shoot the ball, and that's a skill that tends to translate from conference to conference without any real concern. So I have no doubt that he's going to immediately be able to step in as a shooter.
Mhm.
I'm interested to see if his, I would say, better than average for an Ivy League guard ability to get to the hole translates at all in Pac-12 play or not. And if it does, that's just a bonus. But we know he's a shooter, and that's a valuable skill to start with.
Yeah, when this is a Pac-12 game that isn't, right? Not technically counting in the conference standings.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was a team that we had to pick to play 3 times, it would probably be Oregon State, probably a comparable team to ours in terms of ability level, talent. So a good measuring stick game to start off the season.
Yeah, and this year, of course, you're not really getting the non-conference play like we were used to seeing to ease into the season. So yeah, it's sort of important to start strong if you can.
Well, I believe we should be
Ooh,
starting soon.
Wait, are we live? I'm trying to figure out what this Pac-12 intro is.
I believe we
Why
are
am I?
live.
Of course, I'm seeing Sabrina Ionescu on my screen instead of
Yeah.
anybody I'd be happy to see.
Yeah. As a basketball fan, you gotta love what she does, but as a Cal fan, it's like she was right there.
Well, as someone born in Connecticut, I'm happy she's on the Liberty. Definitely happier than her being on Oregon.
Yeah, now you can root for her as a pro. You don't need to root
Yeah,
for her as a
I mean,
college
that's-
student.
Once in a while, it turns out that way, but usually you don't get the Cal guys going to New York. Ashton Davis is one of the rare exceptions. Now a Jet. Yeah.
Yep. Well, as we get ready here for the Cal game, I'm trying to get it on my computer screen. That's the big thing. Let's see if I can swing this.
Alex, have you heard the starting lineup that was announced for the game?
Actually, I haven't. I just kind of ran on up here. So
It is Joel Brown, Matt Bradley, Ryan Bentley, Grant Antisevich, and Lars Tiemann.
Okay.
If you were to ask me to guess what Cal's best 5 players would be, I might have had Foreman over Joel Brown and Andre Kelly over Lars Tiemann. Whether or not that means that these 5 are who Mark Fox thinks are his best 5, who knows?
Yeah, well, if Kelly doesn't get his minutes, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. Oh, we're live in Gill Coliseum on my screen.
Really?
You know what? You know why it wasn't showing up? Because it's only on Pac-12 Bay Area. It's
Are
not
you going to be able to
actually-
watch, Rob?
I am. I just turned it on.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
We
people
got-
wonder why I have cable. That's one of the reasons.
Freaking Pac-12 network.
Yeah.
Yes, we needed to be in the Silicon Valley and get it on all live streaming services like Fubo.
Right? Like my dad gets the Big Ten network, so you can talk football with my brother who went to Northwestern, but he wants to talk hoops with me. He has to watch the highlights.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
if he can afford another $45 a month for Sling TV just to get the stupid
That's
Pac-12
true.
network.
Yeah, he could add on.
You know what I want? I want us to be on YouTube TV. Like, how nice would that be if you just get Pac-12 Network on YouTube TV? Covers everything.
Or Hulu as an option. Like
Mhm.
really just any of the major streaming services.
Just one. Isn't it strange? We're not going to see Tinkle's son in an Oregon State uniform anymore. It is finally over after his 10 years at Oregon State.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
was
think it's worth noting. 1 second, let me pull up some stats for Oregon State because so Wayne Tinkle as head coach at Oregon State. He's coached now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, he's starting his 7th year at Oregon State, which is somewhat surprising to me.
yeah.
His son has been there most of the time. In fact, Trey Tinkle's first season was 2016. So there's only been 2 seasons without Trey on the team. That won his first season when the Beavers went 8-10, 107th per KenPom. And the disastrous Trey was injured for the entire season, disaster season, in which the Beavers went 5-27, 1-17 in the Pac-12, 264th in KenPom. Life without his own son available has not been kind to the elder Tinkle.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Who, by the way, just signed a 10-day exhibition contract with my Los Angeles Lakers.
Was that today?
I think it was a couple days ago.
Okay.
But I mean that contract won't go into effect until training camp, I believe.
Right.
Huh.
So yeah.
We're getting an insight into who Oregon State's go-to players are. The broadcast just highlighted, I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but they said he's a transfer from Nicholls State. So
Is it
apparently,
Is it Warith? Warith?
Yeah, so Oregon State apparently is relying on a Nicholls State transfer this year. That maybe doesn't speak super well of their chances.
What is his name? Warith Alatish.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm gonna look him up right now. Let's see.
Yeah, of course he got the exemption.
Yes.
Yeah. I've gotten some comments from fans either on our site or on Twitter, basically like, what exactly is wrong with Cal administratively to be the only school in the country that can't get exemptions for their transfers?
I saw one other
No,
player recently, but I can't remember what school it was who did not get one also. So that made me feel slightly better.
Yeah, but Gonzaga got their big dude. Like it.
Yeah. Well, I saw Gonzaga is number 1 on KenPom.
Yeah. We got
the same area. She will not enjoy that.
got a question here. Is Alex related to Wiz Khalifa?
I get that a lot. It's funny. I was growing up, I told people my real family name apparently from the 1800s is Sultan, and then my grandfather changed it to Khalifa. So even if somehow or possible we could be related, we wouldn't be related. But,
well, the best rap names are chosen, right, rather than given. So
exactly. Yeah, and I don't even know the story. My dad went on for a half an hour about why we changed our name, and he couldn't even understand why. But, so if your name is Sultan, we might be related from the old days.
Our writer, one of our staff writers, Peter, asks, what are the chances we'll go into 2021 more optimistic about men's basketball than football?
I mean, optimism is all relative, right? You know, men's basketball optimism is like, you know, if things fall right this year, maybe we could finish 8th in the conference. Whereas football optimism, well, how you even want to try to analyze this season, football optimism was not that.
Yeah. And football is also we're only going to play 7 games no matter what. Whereas basketball, this is practically a full season. We'll get a lot more, numbers.
Nice tip.
We have our first 00 sighting. Ryan Bentley wearing the 00.
I saw that on the lineup card. Yeah.
Game just tipped for you guys.
Yeah, game just tipped.
Yeah, I got the Lars tip in. So
great.
There it
I'm
is. Yep.
well behind you now because they're just showing me the starting lineup.
Yeah. If
Are you watching on cable or on stream?
I'm watching streamed via Sling on my TV.
Give it a refresh. Let it buffer.
Yeah, maybe.
My Pac-12 stream is always behind my cable, which is why I have the TV going for sure. But
yeah, I have it streaming off of Xfinity on Google Chrome. Just some notes here. Nick, you were asking about Warith Alatish.
Mm-hmm.
Played 2 years at Nicholls State. averaged 1.3 points per game in his freshman year. His sophomore year averaged 10.9, shooting 71.1% from the free throw line on 90 attempts, 25% from three, only on 8 attempts, and 55.7 from the field with 244 attempts.
Yeah, it seems like he's basically, power forward, not a
Yep.
stretch four.
Yep. 8.3 rebounds per game with a distribution of 5 defensive and about 3 offensive rebounds.
Yeah. So our first possession, that was Bradley who went to the hole, and then Lars on the weak side for the putback, right?
Little tip in.
And he almost
Yep.
had another, but it clanged off the rim. So.
Oh, no. I'm not thrilled that we're posting Lars on our second possession.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that was a post. I think he got the
it
good
was
seal.
good.
That was a great pass. That was a great pass by Grant.
Looks like I'm somewhat caught up on you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Got a little bit of token pressure from Oregon State on the inbounds, and looks like they're falling into a zone. Good high-low action there from Grant, but Lars didn't go up very strong.
Yep. Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, Joel made a nice move there, but finish.
And my concerns of Lars and catching the ball in traffic still remain.
It was kind of a broken play, but yeah, you were correct.
It's interesting that we've now, Lars has been involved in all of our first few possessions. I don't know how I feel about that. It would be great if we got a second-year leap out of him. Like, he's clearly a guy with potential.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a mixed bag to start the game.
I mean, I would think the strategy is to bring in Kelly maybe to make sure he avoids foul trouble in the first few minutes, but I don't know.
So what we have a good putback from him, but then he was blocked pretty decisively, and he fumbled a handoff.
Yep.
So we're 1 for 3 now.
Yep.
And I guess the bottom line is I'd like to see Matt Bradley more involved than Lars. Yeah.
Oh, that was nice. That's
Pisevic there looks good.
Nice little move from Grant. Yeah, I think that's the bigger question now is how are we I don't know if we're going to be able to tell just from one game, but are we going to go fully the inside out game that we attempted to play so much last season to no effect, really? We should have played an outside in game just because as a freshman big, it's too rough. And we had the outside power to do it, but
what's the time on the clock for you guys right now?
17:01. Oregon State's about to inbound.
Same.
Oh.
Wow, air ball for OSU. Nice.
So I was so far behind you guys that I was not yet to the stoppage at 17:01 that happened. Yeah. So you guys can do play-by-play while I do late analysis.
That works. That's fine for me. Well, okay.
Yeah, I know Fox was a little about the jump shooting without having so many repetitions in the off season, but yeah, if they get some to fall early, I'll feel good about that.
The one thing that I think might pay off really is the guys had to practice outside on an outdoor court for God knows how long. And practicing, I know for a fact that practicing shooting on an outside hoop that's like double rimmed, that's like not helpful to jumpers, I think probably helped them big time in being able to shoot a lot more clean jumpers because they're just getting a lot more reps than they're just not going in, right? Because those rims are so rough.
Yeah.
So our first sub of the game was Andre in for Lars. Not super surprising there.
Yeah.
Show me Monty. I want to see Monty.
I'm glad to see that Grant is not afraid to shoot, even if they haven't fallen yet particularly.
Well, I mean, I think last season was like his big breakout year for shooting, right? Like his confidence, I think, was at an all-time low after year 2. And then we had last year his supernova game. And then from that point on, it was like if he's given 3 to 4 feet of space, like he's rising up and taking that no hesitation.
Yeah.
Just a matter of knocking them down.
Oh man.
So we've got Betley struggling to fight through some screens that gets Oregon State an open three that they nail. We're taking more threes and we're missing all of them, which is laughing in the face of all the columns I wrote last year.
And I think the Bears were a little unlucky on that last possession. A couple of tip attempts just didn't go.
Well, so far, Nick, you see a bit more optimism because they're doing a lot more of what you wanted them to do, which is to be a bit more attack mentality from the perimeter. Because they don't seem to be forcing it inside like they did early with Lars, but after he's gone out, it's been a lot more perimeter game.
I guess what I'd like, I have mixed feelings right now because I'm seeing a little bit more confidence from certain players to look for their own shot. We don't seem to be playing as slow as we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be good. That can pay dividends. It also means that Matt Bradley only has 2 shots so far and hasn't seen a ton of the ball. And
that is beautiful. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful offense.
Now I get to watch what it is.
That's not it. The shot doesn't go in, but the move was nice. The whole setup, the pick and roll, and then Joel driving, and then kicking out to the weak side with Grant. He fakes the ball or shows the ball, then kicks to the corner to Matt Bradley. Doesn't go in, but that's exactly what you want. You want constant movement of the ball, constant movement of players.
Yeah, that's the perfect shot. Is Bradley open in the corner for a 3?
Mm-hmm. Oh, beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I think so far, I'm impressed with the movement. Like,
yeah, the execution they lag the plan, but
I'm afraid to look at the numbers right now because I think Oregon State is like 2 for 2 from 3, and we're like 0 for 5 or something like that.
We missed about 4 layups, I think.
They're 5 of 11 from the field. The Bears are 3 and 11 from the field.
Nice move, Matt.
Yeah, that little
finish.
Up and under. Yeah,
you're going to get that call a lot too. He was frustrated not to get the and one.
Well, the Pac-12 refs aren't mid-season form yet, so you know.
Do you have a link for the stat broadcast, Rob?
Yes, sir. I'll ping that in the private chat here.
Thanks.
Bing. All right, we got our first media timeout. And the Bears have taken a pretty big deficit, but in a weird way, I'm not angry about it. I think Oregon State just made some shots.
Well, yeah, that's the game is entirely even, except Oregon State's 2 for 4 from 3, and we're 0 for 4. And I haven't disliked any of our looks from 3. So
haven't fallen. Yep, absolutely.
It's reality of the game. Little bit struggling to rebound.
Yeah, just 4 defensive rebounds off of 6 misses.
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit of bad luck leading to some Cal misses. Not that you can blame it all on luck, but it feels more like a 12-10 game or something.
Yeah.
But I'm liking. I think I'm liking the offense a little bit more than I did last year, just in terms of what they're looking for, what they tend to be getting. Guys are looking a little bit more like they know what shot they want to look for.
Yeah.
Because last year the frustration was, what shot are we even trying to get? There were lineups at times where nobody was confident looking for any particular shot, especially when Matt sat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the game I went to at Poly Pavilion last year. I mean, Bradley didn't have a great night shooting the ball, but it was basically a one-man show. When they did score, it was Bradley. So if they can get a variety of options going, that would be ideal.
Yeah, Grant's taken 2 threes. Matt's taken 2 threes, but they've both missed. Matt, in a weird turn of events, is our leading shot taker now. So,
Yeah, as soon as I was complaining about him not getting looks, I think he took the shot on 2 straight possessions.
Yeah. Well, here's fun for you, Nick. I believe Monty Bowser, Mekhi Foreman, and Demetrius Klanaris is about to enter the game.
Interesting. two players immediately who I wasn't sure whether or not they would get legit minutes, and all come in one line change. Now we're
Mhm.
going to get to see on the replay Betley failing to fight through two stagger screens for a 3-point. That's a good-looking play by Oregon State. I hope we run that type of action for Betley amongst other players.
Oh, lovely. Lovely offense. Lovely, lovely offense.
Yeah, we needed that out of the break.
Yeah, that was that high post screen with that little quick pass underneath because they overreached on the screen. Love it. Absolutely love it.
So let's see. We got Mikhail at point.
Yeah, Monty at the small. I think Klonaris is playing shooting. And then Anticevic at the 4 and Kelly at the 5.
Was that Bowser that threw it into Kelly?
Yeah, that was Bowser who threw that pass.
Okay, that's exciting. Let's see some court vision from the freshman.
Yeah, and that little push pass too. It wasn't even a bounce. He did that little like move where you kind of look underneath and just push it towards him. I like it. And then he commits the foul on the other end. So, freshman mistakes.
Yeah, I'm not going to hate that. I mean, he stayed with his guy, fought through a screen. You're showing some decent defensive awareness. But
Sean made a note on my sweatshirt. This is actually a jersey that's over a sweatshirt. So I'm wearing a sweater, and then I just have the last Cal jersey, the Jordan one, the nice one.
I'm actually wearing one too, since I can't wear it to games. But
okay, so the pick and roll is now, and like we're not just going high screen and roll. We're going from the wings too. Like where we were clamoring for this all year last year, and now we're seeing it.
You think it's a strategy change or just better personnel to implement?
Oh, maybe. I think I mean, realistically, it could be all of that, right? It could be the roster composition is way better and more suited to run this type of offense. It could be guys have gotten a little bit older and a bit more mature in their decision making. Like look at that movement. That is
that was nice.
That is
and it
nice.
looked like they had a good look inside with Grant, and then they kicked it back out.
I think Grant should have gone up with it, but I mean he saw Klonaris open in that corner and he gave that up. But I'm impressed.
I'm not sure about this lineup defensively.
Yeah, I think we have way too much slow feet on the defensive side for this, and zero shot blocking inside. Then again, do we really have any real shot blocking on our roster?
Yeah, Lars, in theory, might become a shot blocker if he sort of grows into the game. That was one of the things I was hoping to see from him. Like, I have some questions about his ceiling as an offensive player, but just from sheer size, he should be able to become a plus defender.
Holy moly, are we going with a full 5 lineup swap? Just 5 guys just got off the bench and walked to them.
That was not a great sequence from Klonaris there.
Yeah.
No awareness that there was help defense.
No, but he does recover on the other end because he gets the steal. So
okay.
But watch the bench, Nick. You'll see 5 guys just get up. It looks like we're going to get some Kwani.
I was just about to say, Kwani has the body for shot blocking. I don't know if he...
Well, he has the athleticism too. Like when you watch him in warm-ups and stuff, like the dude is 6'10" and like absolutely flies around. And he feels like a Roger. Like that's the body type I see in Kwani. Except Kwani actually has a decent shot. Roger did not.
I saw him hit, I think he hit 1 3-pointer at that UCLA game, and he only played like 2 minutes, so that was fun.
Yeah. And that was Nick's thing last year, right? Is like, can Kwani develop into a decent spot-up 3-point shooter?
Like the question was, is the small sample size legitimate? Because I'm gonna have to go and look now. He had the I'm trying to remember if he had the first highest or second highest offensive rating on the entire team last year, but again in very limited minutes.
I can look that up.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. So Yeah, so he had the highest offensive rating on the entire team, a touch below Andre Kelly and Matt Bradley, who had a much higher offensive load. So
Right.
But when a dude shoots 36% from three and has the size that Kwani has, like that, in theory, is a super valuable player.
Yep.
And I was expecting him to be one of the first guys off the bench, or at least hoping.
Yeah, we have another media timeout here. So the
Right.
Bears are only down 6 with 10 minutes to go in the first half.
What we are seeing so far is either Mark Fox thinks that he has a very deep roster of guys who can contribute, or Mark Fox isn't quite sure what he wants his rotation to be yet, and he's going to be finding out
Over the next
season.
like 3-4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other than the exhibition tomorrow, you don't really have cupcakes, so you have to do it sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are precisely 2 teams on the schedule that Cal should be able to beat.
3-pointer out of the gate. I'll take it.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Who hits it?
Bentley,
Mr.
right?
Bentley.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a deep 3 too. He was at least a good 2-3 feet behind the line.
So this is the entire starting lineup except Kwani in the place of Lars. Or I'm not Lars, Grant.
Right. They're going full man here, so they don't really need Lars in there. Because Kwani has the 6'10 size that we're talking about, right?
Well, and Kwani is probably going to play stretch 4 the way Grant plays stretch 4.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be another thing I'm
Bradley.
looking to see, is if we see any 2 center lineups the way we sometimes saw.
Yeah, we saw like Andre Kelly and Lars last season.
Yeah, which never worked for what it's worth. So I'm glad that we haven't seen it yet, and hope that we don't.
I mean, I said it all last year, right? I think the best style of offense that would have worked for us, particularly with the last year's group, is gone that Villanova 4-guard, 1 forward system, right? But we were adamant on using a center. Like we were like, we have to use a center.
Yeah, well, and they basically have 2 traditional posts, or 3 traditional posts on the roster. So
Yep.
Oh
man, that's I don't like that call, but okay.
Yeah, they've been calling the game pretty tight the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I don't like that foul call. But then again, I'm biased. Any foul call against Cal is a not good call.
Yeah.
So
the best is when the stats bear you out, like when you know that you're getting more foul calls, deservedly or not, than other teams. And I've seen that before. And then you get upset because you have the proof that at least you are getting whistled more than the other team.
Sean asks, I haven't been paying attention. I know Fox has been hammered for recruiting. Is it doing better? Rob or Nick, has recruiting been doing well? Are you anyone you hoping for in 2022?
Well, maybe. So the big recruiting news was kind of out of nowhere.
Obina Anyanwu.
Yeah,
exactly.
Obina Anyanwu, a 4-star, high 3-star, low 4-star prospect who's by far the most heralded recruit that Mark Fox has recruited at Cal, out of nowhere. Like, we didn't even know that he had an offer, and he had never listed Cal.
Yep.
There are maybe some reasons involving off the court issues that maybe explain how he ended up in Cal's lap.
We don't need to...
Mark Fox has done his homework.
I mean, if you just search his name on Google, you'll find articles on it, so you can go do your own research on that. We won't talk about it, but yeah. The Irish. Oh, Sean asked, is he the Irishman? The Irishman is Sam Alajiki, who is in the 2021 class.
Right.
And he committed, and we knew he was coming. Which, if you don't know, go to the Cal men's basketball Twitter handle, and you'll see on signing day, or the first day of early signing period, when they signed, Sam sent in a little video of I'm excited to join the Cal family and all that, and it's awesome because he has an Irish accent.
Yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it.
All of Mark Fox's international recruits have been sort of hard to get a read on because they haven't been sort of the obvious high-end recruits where
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Betley's keeping us in this game with the shooting.
Yeah,
nice
but
release
Lars.
on that last three.
Yeah, except Lars is losing us this game because he can't make a basket within 2 inches of the rim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you want to say unlucky, but maybe he's just not finishing right now.
Oh my goodness.
But to be down by 2 right now, not a terrible feeling.
Nope. And we push. That's blocking. Yep. Clearly he was moving. Let's go. Looking at the 2022 basketball prospects. High choice is Corin Johnson, a point guard from Garfield in Seattle, Washington, a high 4-star. First in the state, 13th at his position, national 61 overall. Interested. This is all from 247. I think 247 might have the best basketball recruiting numbers, and I like their staff. So Dylan Andrews, Windward School in Los Angeles, California, another point guard, 4-star, position 8th, national 31, state 5th best.
Ooh, love to see Matt push on the break there. That was great.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we need. The ball is in. No more slow it down. When the ball is in the hands of your best player, let him
run.
Attack.
Just run.
Yeah,
I love it. We're actually I don't know if we're in the mix, but we have quite a few offers out to big name guys. Kijani Wright from Windward School in Los Angeles, a power forward, 6'9", 215, third at his position, third in the state, and nationally ranked at 11. Lee Dort, a center, 6'10", another 5-star guy, nationally ranked 19th, second at the position, second in his state. Richard Isaacs Jr. from Wasatch Academy, 6'2", point guard, nationally ranked 23rd, 5th at his position. These are all offers that are out to these guys.
So the pattern with Mark Fox since he's been at Cal recruiting is it's not an issue of identifying and offering the right talent, and it's pretty obvious in the world of basketball who the Pac-12 talents are. It's that he has lost the recruiting battle for every highly sought after Pac-12 player. Like if it's a battle between us and other Pac-12 teams, the other Pac-12 teams win that battle, and we have to go to our fallback options, whether that's internationally or recruiting, winning battles with Mountain West teams and grad transfers and other options. And, in a way, I kind of am happy with the way that Mark Fox has gone about filling the holes with competent players to build a roster after losing the battle for the highly sought after guys that you wanted first. But it's hard to see this program taking a step forward without actually winning some of those battles. The recruit that we mentioned earlier is sort of the first obvious Pac-12 level recruit that Cal has secured a signature on yet. Hopefully that pans out well for everybody involved.
Yeah, and really a list of a dozen teams when I was writing that report on Yano, and he went to Cal after all. Not much.
What's a little unclear to me is how many of those dozen still had a
standing offer.
A standing offer, an actionable offer. That's something that is always a little murky in the recruiting world. So it's unclear. Did Cal step in and win a battle, or was Cal sort of the best that he had left as an option? And I'm still not really sure what the answer to that question is.
Yeah. Sean also asked, is local Bay Area basketball pretty good? It usually is. I don't think there's any high tier recruits this particular year. But there are a couple afterwards. I don't know what's going to happen with Jalen Lewis, who is that 5-star center out at Bishop O'Dowd. There's rumors that he might be transferring to another high school. So if he leaves the Bay Area, then that drops a little bit. But yeah, we just don't know right now.
Matt Bradley drawing the charge. I'm so far behind you guys.
Well, and you'll like what he did next too. Getting fouled from 3-point range.
From the top of the key.
I was going to say, for Bay Area basketball and the way Cal recruits, the number one question you should ask is, how good is Bishop O'Dowd looking right now? Mm-hmm. Because we own Bishop O'Dowd, baby.
Yeah, because we got Marsalis Roberson, who's joining us from Bishop O'Dowd. We got Monty Bowser this year. There's
Ivan, obviously.
Ivan, yeah. I mean,
And we've
always
gotten a
done
bunch of
pretty well.
women's recruits there too.
Aisha was one of the bigger ones from that
Mhm.
school. So yeah, I think we've built a good enough connection with Lou Ritchie, who's the coach at Bishop O'Dowd. And I think we do a good job because they're right down the street. It's just a matter of, are there any guys coming through that program? And I think we've taken pretty much all of their big names over the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the one high school game I saw when I lived in the Bay Area, which was only the 4 years I was at Cal. It was one of Leon Poe's last high school games. Oakland Tech against Salinas. And yeah, Oakland Tech ended up taking over in the second half and winning. But that was my first look at Leon Poe.
And so now we've got our first lead since we were up 2-0, right?
Yep.
Yeah, after the 3 free throws.
Charlie Xavier on YouTube says, hope Matt gets drafted, friends with this trainer. He also says, right now we'd be more sorry if after Matt leaves. I mean, he's a big part of our team right now.
He looks
and the NBA
like
does
the best player on the
guys
court.
Who can shoot the three. I know that.
Yeah.
He's
Can he shoot the
for
NBA?
The first time. So
Yeah,
let's see. This is our first Foreman Brown lineup. So I'm curious to see who takes point when we get the ball back.
Damn it. Wow. Okay.
Is that DJ Thorpe in the game for the first time as well? I
believe so, yeah. Alatish can fly. I'll just say that. The dude can definitely get up. And also this was a perfectly placed pass by Ethan Thompson. Holy moly. Like that was perfectly in rhythm.
But he does miss the free throw.
Oh, yeah.
We got our first unassisted 3-point attempt from Mikhail Foreman. That was close, but didn't quite fall.
He's got good form. I haven't watched him shoot like off of actual real tape because all the other tape that from him it's so grainy. It's like hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, what I was hoping from this, like when you look at his stats page from Stony Brook, you get the sense that he takes high difficulty shots and still, shoots at the percentage he shoots. So the wonder is, well, maybe now that he's at Cal with better athletes around him, he won't have to take so many high difficulty shots. Maybe his percentage will go up.
Yeah. You would think just looking at his stats, it's like, the Don Coleman years at Cal, right? Just there's no one else, so he has to take shots.
Yeah. Second straight possession that he is running the point rather than Brown. That's not a shock, a senior grad transfer who has a ton of experience on the ball.
Christopher Yu asks, he says, just got here, don't have Pac-12 Network, can't watch live. How do Clonaris and Brown look? You guys want to give some thoughts on how the two of them look so
far? Mixed bag for Clonaris. He hit a shot, didn't he?
Let me check. Clonaris has 0 for 0. Okay. No shots taken.
Oh, well, he had some good defensive plays, some iffy defensive plays.
Well, he had a turnover and then on the following possession had a steal.
Yeah.
That's his stats so far.
Yeah, Brown did some slashing early, a couple of nice plays, but there's been a lot of in and out in this game in terms of personnel.
Yeah, it's hard to get a flow of any one particular player.
And I think that is by design. He's almost using this like a scrimmage, but of course Fox doesn't have that many.
We've played 11 players.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like spring training or something.
Yeah. This feels like this just feels like a glorified just like a warm-up game, like a pickup game.
I get it. They've had limited practice and they don't have the usual big non-conference schedule.
So that's every single eligible scholarship player with the exception of what's the name of the other freshman?
Jalen Celestine.
Celestine from out east. Obviously, we can't play our Fresno State transfer, thanks NCAA.
Yeah, that was cruel.
I have a hard time believing that, when we get into the teeth of Pac-12 play, that we would really run an 11-player rotation. So, but, maybe Brown or Fox has that much faith in everybody else on the roster.
Oh, what is Joel doing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're getting some more answers about your Joel Brown question.
all I can say is the dude is ridiculously fast. Like not even just like north to south fast, but just even with
nice
his
steal there.
dribbling.
So,
I will take it, and I will take it some more.
all right, and a nice layup. All right, we broke the 9-0 run at least.
Thank God. Ooh, good
Yes.
hands.
Perhaps not a coincidence that run came with Matt Bradley on the bench for the first time in the
And
game.
now Brown again with the steal and the finish himself. So
Lovely.
We'll
I
take
love
that.
it. I absolutely love it. I mean, I think that the comp that a lot of people made was that even on YouTube, right, off of Joel's Brown highlight tapes, they nicknamed him the Canadian Rondo, and he plays like a Canadian Rondo.
I'll take Rondo from this year's NBA playoffs.
I was thinking more of his years at Kentucky, where he's just that super athletic point guard that can't shoot for his life. Does everything well defensively, like, and all that, but
Nice entry pass to Kelly. That's what you need to get back in the game.
That was good to see that, like you meant, that steal and dish to get Matt on the break.
mm-hmm.
I would like to see. So you're right. 2 straight steals. That's a part of his game that you feel like should have been in his arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Was he was already a good defender, but maybe it didn't result in as many steals as you'd think that his quickness would lead to have happened. So it's good to see that
Kelly, who missed the dunk, but great pass there too.
Our interior finishing has not been super great today. Andre has been a little bit off
down
too.
By 3, it feels like they could be up by 2 or 4 at least.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those, like, in the first half, just the heebie-jeebies of, playing your first game, just getting those, those feelings out. Okay. We'll see. I mean, I'm somewhat excited. Let's see. Oh, we got some inside sources here on YouTube. Charlie Xavier says Jared. I think he's talking about Jared Hyder. Right. Close friends with Matt. Grew up in Kawhi's neighborhood. They played ball together for so many years. Great chemistry. Would have made our team so much better. Did not know that. I knew they were from the same area. I didn't know that they actually knew each other and played with each other growing up.
Well, and goodness knows we need point options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him next season when hopefully things are more normal for everyone. But
well, yeah, I think the question that I would ask is, are they appealing the decision?
I heard that whoever it was on the other team that appealed the decision.
You're allowed to
appeal.
Yeah, you're allowed to appeal the decision. I think that's the big part. Like, will they appeal?
And is there any reason not to? I know sometimes in baseball you don't appeal because you'd rather just start serving it right away, but I don't know. There's no reason not to, I would think.
Christopher Yu says, to be honest, I feel all circumstances considering this is going great compared to some of our previous year starts. I would tend to agree. Christopher?
Yeah, even if it is one of the bottom conference teams in theory, at least it is a conference team. It's not just some cupcake that they're hanging in with.
I do think we're the better team in this game right now. It's just we just haven't made our shots. Just overall,
yeah,
I think
especially the layups.
Play better. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think you're absolutely right.
Well, yeah, when the other team is, well, I guess the good news is we haven't let Oregon State get off a ton of 3-point shots. I suspect that they want to take more than they've gotten so far.
Yeah, Ethan Thompson being 1 of 7 from the field is not optimal.
Winning the turnover battle pretty decisively.
Mm-hmm.
Probably giving up a few more offensive rebounds than Mark Fox would be happy about.
I mean, fast break points 5, points in the paint 12. Like, those are numbers that you want to see.
Yeah, Cal is decisively winning the points off turnovers. They showed that a few minutes ago.
Yeah, 14 points off of turnovers compared to 0 for Oregon State.
Right.
That's actually a good point. I don't recall Oregon State getting out in the fast break at any point, which is what you would expect from a Mark Fox defense. Is like his teams get back. They don't let teams get out in transition if he can at all help it. So no surprise there, but still, it's good to see early in the season that an indication that presumably some of the defensive fundamentals that Fox would be focusing on are showing themselves on the court.
Is that a blocking foul or a charge? No. Oh, that's
Yeah, it's against Cal.
That's stupid.
We have our first my chance to get enraged at a block charge call of the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was pleased that Matt drew a blocking call earlier when they could have called an awful charge.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think the refs just like making the gesture for charge. They seem to enjoy it. It's kind of like a strike 3 call.
What do we got here? What
Are you talking about the one on Matt? Because the block that Matt, that was a pretty obvious block to me.
They're going to call that 3 shots. That did not look like much of a foul on Cal there.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the replay, I think, yeah, he was definitely still shuffling in. And he wasn't parallel. He was kind of perpendicular to the dude.
Yeah, like that was an easy block call for me.
Mm-hmm.
I presume that was Matt's first foul of the game, so the one guy that we can't afford to get in foul trouble. Now that we have this deeper roster, I'm not too worried about anybody else getting into foul trouble, but
all right. Well, let's see what else we got going.
Yeah, it looks like the acting job from number 2 drew that foul. I'd like to see a replay, but I didn't see much contact. And when a guy just throws his limbs all over like that, It's like, come on.
Although I do remember back in the day when I was on campus and Richard Midgley did one of those draw 3 fouls leaning into the guy, and it won the Bears the game. So sometimes it goes your way.
I mean, I don't blame a guy for trying to get the call, but I will blame the refs for falling for it.
Ooh. Oh, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, I've never seen a guy fake out that hard from one jab step.
I enjoy watching our socially distant bench.
They have it set up like the NBA bubble. Like the bench format, it feels very much like that.
You have like players heavily breathing, not even bothering with their masks.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't know how you can go back to like sitting on that crowded bench, like that one line after sitting like this, where you have like so much
That's
space.
What I want to see, Matt. Yes.
Do you notice how much
step, take your shot.
Do you see how much space he created from that jab step too?
When he gets that much space on the court, like, and I don't mean the space like what he created from the jab step. I mean like they were isolating him on the wing with everybody else on the other side. You give him that much space, and he's going to make anything but the most elite defender pay.
I mean, the question there becomes: are you that worried about his drive to the basket that you're going to give him, like, you're going to jump out that far off of his first step? Like, that's the part I'm a little shocked about.
And he's good enough now to take whatever the defender shows him.
Mm-hmm. He's smart enough now too. He has the maturity now, where he's not forcing it like previous years. I feel like last year he saw he would make one move or he would do one thing based on what the opponent was giving him, and that's what he would do. But yeah,
I feel like we're going to see defensive mistakes and offensive mistakes like that. It's just not very much practice, and obviously no lead into playing a conference team, even if it's not a conference game. I think people are going to be getting their bearings for a while.
So I think what Nick was talking about, I think is perfectly true here. Is we won't know what the rotation is going to look like, but at the very least, what we can kind of glean is that he's not afraid to play the freshman.
Yes,
and that I think is a huge positive, because remember last year he was very hesitant to play the freshmen like wing guys like Kwani and those guys. But then this year it's like Bowser's in from the get-go. Celestine's coming off of I think the ACL or the Achilles injury, so I'm sure that they'll bring along slowly. but you just seen these guys, which I can't hate. I can't hate.
What it's looking like right now is, reading the tea leaves from not even a full half. Maybe I should save my thoughts for in 2
Post-game.
minutes when we're at halftime and we can really look at what the final numbers say. Let's see.
Another turnover.
Wow, that was a terrible turnover. That was like an unforced error.
Oh, but Monty gets the steal.
Very nice.
Hmm.
That was almost like an attempted pass that went straight to.
Monty, my man. Monty. Oh, look at those long limbs just running out. Oh, and the slam.
Yeah, so it's 34-31 Oregon State, but 16-0 Cal now, points off turnovers. That's over half their points.
I just saw multiple things that frustrated me. That screen call on Grant was lame.
Yep.
The bucket that they scored over Bradley looked to me like Matt was afraid of picking up his second foul.
Yeah.
Which I'd kind of prefer he contests that, I guess.
I can live with that. I can honestly live with that shot. Oh, that's no. And halftime.
So can we? So now I'm on Oregon State's last offensive possession. So let's see what Cal does defensively.
Well, I'm all right.
Joel,
If Bradley hits that last three, we're really happy. Just down two, but as it is,
Joel gambles on the three.
Yeah. Well, he gambled on that backside. He tried to go for the steal from behind. He does that little poke
kind of
out.
Set up a mismatch with Kwani on a faster player.
Yeah. Thankfully, I think Lars does a good job right there of coming over to help. That forces him not to go straight to the basket, but go around Lars to the other side. Still a tough shot to make, but he ends up making it.
All right, time to do some halftime math.
Love it. So, yeah, at halftime, the Bears are down 31-36. 40% from the field for the Bears, 12 of 30, 27% from three-pointers, 3 of 11, 80% from the free throw line, 4 of 5. Only 6 turnovers the half. That's a good number. With 13 total rebounds and 16 points off of turnovers to Oregon State's 2. Oregon State is 50% from the field, shooting 14 of 28, and 50% from 3 of 6, and shooting 36% from the line, 5 of 8, with 9 turnovers. But they lead the rebounding battle 21-13. So, eesh there.
It looks like we are at a 36 possession game right now, if I'm doing my math correctly. So, we're talking about Oregon State at about a point per possession, Cal a touch lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is just going to come down from the fact that Cal hasn't hit their threes.
And they've gotten looks. That's the thing. They haven't forced threes. Like, they've actually facilitated good offense to get shots. It's just Bradley's only made 1 of 4. Granted, that last shot was really, he just shot it with the clock expiring. The guy in his face. But
each team is shooting about 50% on their twos. Oregon State's been able to get a few more, but at the consequence of having a few more turnovers, I think, from trying to pound the ball into traffic a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
If Cal is hitting their threes, do you guys recall seeing a three that was like a bad shot, or the one that you questioned at any point?
I mean, the last one.
Well, when you kind of had to force it.
Yeah, but you had to force it. Not that I remember.
It doesn't feel like they missed that many 2-point jumpers either. It's a lot of inside shots, and then the threes haven't all fallen.
I guess the bottom line is I feel like I like the shot selection that they are going for so far a lot more than I liked it last year.
Absolutely.
I guess
we
should also talk about
down the stretch playing so many guys.
And we can talk about our minutes now. We've got major minutes for 3 players: Joel Brown, Grant Anticevich, Matt Bradley, all played the majority of the half with like a quick 3 or 4 minute rest each. And then kind of scattered minutes for everybody else. DJ Thorpe Demetrius Klanaris and Kwani each with like a quick few minutes between timeouts.
Nick and Alex, let me ask you this. I'm not a big plus minus guy. I think it's a stupid stat. But who do you think is the only two players that are positive plus minus on this Cal team right now?
That sheet up right now.
It's got to be somebody who didn't play a whole lot. Maybe Bentley because he hit a couple threes.
It's actually Lars and Kwani.
Funny.
Kwani's at 5, Lars is at 4.
Of course, Kwani only played 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Lars is more interesting because I think he got
8 minutes of play.
Yeah.
A +4 in the plus minus.
I mean, his numbers aren't great. He's 1 of 3, and based
two
on shot quality, he should have hit at least 2.
I think he should have hit all 3.
Yeah, honestly. 1 of 3 with the turnover is not great offensive stats. I don't know. Maybe some of that is defensive impact.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to, go back and look and see what level of defensive impact Lars is having, in part because I'm just curious to see if that part of his game grew over the offseason.
I mean, Andre Kelly is 3 of 7 in just 10 minutes of play with a plus minus of -9. But he also adds 4 rebounds and a block shot. Like, I dare say if we're going to run this pick and roll offense, Kelly is the better starter. He's grabbing more rebounds. He's been more physical on the defensive end for sure. And he's hard rolling to the basket too. Like,
yeah, I've always liked his inside game.
Mm-hmm. But he actually has a jumper. He has a decent jumper.
I don't think anybody could reasonably dispute that Andre Kelly is a better offensive player than Lars Tiemann. And honestly, last year, I would say that Andre was also a better defender, though maybe the difference wasn't quite as stark.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, has Lars grown such that he might be a better defender than Andre? That's something to watch over the course of the season.
Mm-hmm. Charlie Xavier says shots around the basket were bad. Yeah, I don't think the shot selection around the basket were bad. It's just we were bad at making
the finishing of them.
We are not good.
Well, we're 9 of 19 from 2, which is not a bad percentage. It's just that, in a way, I guess that's a positive because I think we're creating good looks. Like, it's a good sign when you're just a touch below 50% on your 2-point shots and also feeling like you left points on the floor that you could have had.
Well, and I think a lot of that is the product of the fast break. But, yeah, definitely some nice passes leading to those fast breaks.
Yeah, that's true. Like, a lot of our 2-pointers were on fast breaks. It's a fair question how many 2s that we earned out of the half-court set.
Well, Richard Unger here says, horrible rotation. Klanaris is not a Pac-12 player. Why did they bench Bentley? Don't get Fox's obsession with the 2 Euros. Klanaris played 3 minutes in a 20-minute half. Bentley played 11 minutes. I wouldn't say that's benched if he started the game and played 11 minutes. If it was an 8-man rotation and they weren't playing guys, I would say yes, there's an issue with the rotation, but they've played 12. Is that 12 guys or is it still 11?
11. Celestine hasn't come off the bench.
Yes.
Right. So they've played 11 guys. Like, that's not a rotation. We're throwing everyone and giving everyone playing time to get some feel for real game basketball. Like, I think and I also think that's how they're treating this game. So,
and one part of it is Cal only has so many bigs. You kind of have to let guys like Tiemann sink or swim in some way.
Yeah. At some point, you just got to throw them off the deep end and just say, all right, let's see what you can do.
Yeah, because even Kelly, as much as I love his inside game, is a bit undersized for a big man.
My guess preseason for the rotation of the bigs was something like 60-40 between 60% of the minutes to Kelly and 40% to Lars, with maybe a little bit of extra, a minute or two of Thorpe. The fact that Thorpe has, I think he only got a minute is.
Yeah, he played a minute. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping, like, the big offseason question is, like, all these guys who played a little bit as freshmen, would any of them make a big leap? The minutes would suggest that maybe the coaching staff thinks that Joel Brown is ready to make a leap, but they're not super convinced about anybody else yet.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, and also this isn't a conference game. You know, I think when we play Oregon State again, when it hits the in-conference part of it, of our season, it's going to be a drastically different like minute distribution. I think even going into next week, like even when we play Nicholls State, I think we're going to have a very, very different rotation. That's just my thought.
Yeah, that could well be true. They just have only so many opportunities to have sort of, even though this is not an exhibition, kind of an exhibition game to see what you have in some of these guys.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, Oregon State's playing 10 guys themselves, so they may be going into this with the same attitude that Mark Fox takes into the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's also what you're expecting out of this Cal team, right? Like, is the expectation where you think we're going to win every single game this year or be competitive? If that's the case, then yeah, if you're looking at it from that lens, sure, the rotation's too long, guys aren't making their shots, everything's burning, the world around us is burning down. But I think for a lot of us, I don't think we're not vying for an NCAA tournament berth here. We're not vying for the Pac-12 championship. I think it's one of those seasons where we just hope to grow from last season. And clearly we're seeing that at the very least. Like, the guys have gotten definitely better. The offense looks more fluid than last year. And some things that, Nick has harked on wanting since last year, and we're finally seeing it.
Yeah, well, they like a lineup that I'd be really interested in seeing. Presuming that Mark Fox is dedicated to having a traditional post on the floor, a Andre Kelly, Grant, Anticevich, then Foreman, Betley, Bradley lineup, where you can get 4 shooters on the court around, your best interior offensive player in Andre Kelly would be interesting to me. I think playing Grant as sort of a stretch 5 probably sacrifices too much in terms of interior defense and rebounding to really be tenable, but that would be sort of interesting to see if you're just trying to maximize offense.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big thing. Looking at the stats here, layups, 7 of 12. Easily could be 10 of 12.
Yeah, and they weren't all uncontested, but they certainly were mostly makeable.
Well, look who it is who said he wouldn't be watching a Cal basketball game this year.
Hey, Avi.
Hey, how's the Cal women's game going?
That seems unnecessary.
Well, that's what I'm watching because, I'm here for Cal basketball.
Wait, are the women playing today?
I
Yes,
thought they were playing tomorrow.
they're playing right now.
Oh,
Playing
now I
San
feel
Jose
awful.
State.
This is what happens when I
Well, all the late
fall
second
off the face of
schedule
the earth.
swaps, I almost didn't realize this game was happening today. So.
Yeah, it's currently, what's the score? I have 23-19 in the third quarter.
On San Jose State.
Yes. The live stream is here. I can drop it in the chat.
Christopher disagrees with my take. He says Matt can be an NCAA tourney centerpiece, and the season hasn't even began. I'm very much hoping for a tourney berth, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I respect your opinion and your optimism. I totally respect that. My personal opinion is I don't think we're a tourney team. I don't think we'll get enough wins in the Pac-12 to do so. So that's just me.
I guess the way that I would think about it is we just know that there's too many limited offensive players on the roster. If Cal were to make a big splash this year, it would have to be on the back of just having a stifling, maybe elite level defense, like a defense that you could credibly argue might be the best in the Pac-12 for this team to like really exceed expectations. It's probably not fair to judge the defense based on one half in the first game of the season, but Oregon State, one of the weaker teams in the conference, just went a point per possession against us, and they didn't require like crazy 3-point shooting to do that. In short, I'm not really seeing evidence that the defense has taken a significant step forward yet. I hope to see that evidence at some point over the course of the season, but until I see a defense that is stifling, I'm not ready to predict great things from Cal men's basketball. Like that's the thing that we have to see first and foremost is Mark Fox getting his team to play excellent or better defense the way that he preaches and has been sort of like the hallmark of his coaching career is he's a defensive first coach.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Charlie Xavier also says NIT is what I want. I think the bigger question now becomes how many teams of the Pac-12 make the NCAA tournament? Like, where do you have to end up finishing in terms of the season standings, you think, to make the NCAA tournament? Because I think with the amount of other teams that aren't playing, like some of the mid-majors like aren't playing this year, all that considered, I think you have to be somewhere in the top 6 of the conference. The top 4, I think, guarantees you a spot at in the tournament. I think the other 2 just depends on a couple of bubbles bursting and maybe a Pac-12 tournament going your way where you play a couple more games into it and get those wins. But to be safe, I think you have to be in the top 6. Are the Bears a top 6 team in the Pac-12? They could be. I mean, it's only one game in. But, that's the point where they have to play. I think what Charlie Xavier is saying with the NIT is what I want. I think that's right. I think if we could somehow get to the NIT and maybe play some postseason basketball, and it's the same about what we say about the football team, right? It's like, just get to a bowl game. Doesn't matter what bowl game it is. Get those extra practices. Get the playing time of feeling what it's like to play in a postseason tournament. Get that in. And that's like the next step to getting your, conference or your program to the next level.
Is the NIT still on?
And do they have the same? Do they have the same rule about having to be above 500? Because one of the challenges that the Power 5 or Power 6 teams will face is if like 80-90% of their schedule is conference games, it's going to be tough to go above 500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought of that rule as well because you're not playing the non-conference games. So yeah, especially in this conference, you've got the UCLAs and the Arizonas. It's not going to be.
Well,
it's going to be even harder than usual.
The NIT has not been canceled as of yet. So, yeah.
Got that CBI money.
Yeah.
Don't you have to play in the CBI, or don't you have to pay to play in the CBI?
Oh.
Yeah.
Not aware of the dynamics.
On attendance.
Yeah. No, I think you have to pay. you get a bid, and then you have to pay money to host games.
How much cash do you get for the NIT?
I don't know. That's a very good question, but I do not know.
Because I assume, that was based off ticket sales a little bit as well, right? Like you get a little bit of the revenue off ticket sales, and if there's no tickets.
Yeah, because NIT are home games.
Yeah,
they don't play at a neutral field. I think until round of 8.
I imagine
I believe.
No, Final Four.
Is it just the Final Four that plays at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah,
because we made it to that Final Four that one year with Jabari and co.
No, that was Elite 8.
We played in Madison Square Garden. I'm pretty sure that was a Final Four game where we played SMU or...
That was the Elite 8 game. SMU went to the Final Four.
But we played at Madison Square Garden, which means...
We've won at Madison Square Garden.
We've won. That was 99.
Yeah.
Meet Tamir.
As we begin the second half.
Oregon State gets it inside on the first possession.
Ooh, I love the split. I very much like the split. But that is a foul on Oregon State.
We post up Lars on our first possession of the game, and Lars gets stuffed. Like.
Well,
that
Nick, to be fair, we posted up Lars at the first possession of the first half too, and then our offense went drastically differently.
Well, that was the thing, like all last year and maybe all this year. It's like the first play we call of the game is a post up that gets stuffed.
Yeah, Lars takes a lot of gather moves. Like he doesn't really like take decisive steps into his posts.
I mean, it's empirically proven that post-ups are bad offense. But I think like even within the realm of post-ups, Lars is not a good post-up player yet.
Well, unless you have guys named Shaq or Tim Duncan,
Yeah.
I think.
Like Andre Kelly is a better post-up player. Maybe he's even above average as a college post-up player. I still don't think we should be running post-ups for him. Like it's just not good offense. But Lars in particular, like asking him to post up is putting a player in a position to fail, and I don't really like that.
I like that last flare screen where they had a big setup pick up top, and then they get the wide open roll.
Yeah, Matt Bradley gets the wide open three.
Yeah,
it was a good look.
Right.
Sean asks, Avi, I know we're early and we're not watching a football, but your score prediction for the big game. Everyone wants to know your score predictions because you just either you nail them or they're off by a lot.
Well, I'm 2 for 2 this year.
Exactly. So you nailed them.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned till tomorrow. Cal's playing again tomorrow, right? There's another basketball game tomorrow.
There is. We're playing Northwest, I believe, at 1.
We're playing the region.
It's a NAIA school out in Seattle.
Oh my God.
Portland.
It
was part of this. It was part of this MTE.
Are you not excited?
Are you not entertained?
No.
Well, I mean, we were supposed to be playing Colorado State today, so
Can they just play each other? Can Cal just play Cal in an inter-scrimmage game? I'll watch that.
Me like
Kentucky did that. I think they even post the video.
Well, I mean, yeah, I definitely watched Blue versus White.
Mr. Bentley, you gotta knock that down, man.
Yeah, I thought he had it.
Yeah, his shot form is weird. It like comes from in front of his face, and he like launches it like that. Like
it's a little like Derek Fisher or something. I can't really put my finger on who it was.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, but his percentages speak otherwise. So I guess even if it's weird, if it works, it works.
What is Oregon State supposed
to...
Sorry, go ahead.
What is Oregon State supposed to what?
Yeah.
Is Oregon State supposed to be good?
No.
They're supposed to be worse than us.
Oh.
I think.
I
mean, the preseason rankings had us at what, 10, and then I think Oregon State and Washington State behind us.
Washington State's supposed to be the worst team in the conference.
So Cal's getting good looks, like a lot of good looks.
That's what we've been saying. Like the offense and the shot creation has actually been pretty good.
I would argue that defense has been the bigger issue in this game, which is shocking to say, both in terms of what Mark Fox tries to be as a coach and also the talent on the team.
Yeah,
the other issue that we have right now is that
a little practice time.
The main issue we also have right now is that Matt Bradley is not hitting his threes tonight, and
we are short arming all our threes. They've all been like front rim.
Yeah,
it's because we're wearing too many masks. We're just exhausted.
Our depth perception is off because we're wearing so many masks. Everything looks shorter.
Yeah, I think that was the worry, was the shooting would suffer with fewer reps in the offseason.
Sean asks, hey, Rob, you might have answered, but does the Mulligan season count for basketball as well? I think so.
Yes, if we're bad,
I've heard
it's a mulligan.
Well,
if it's good, Final Four.
I mean, if we're talking about how has the pandemic impacted like the actual specific events, they started practice normally. They had, what was it, a week off of practice because of a positive COVID test on the team?
I believe that was during the preseason warm-up, or was that during summer workout?
Practice. I believe it was preseason practice.
Okay, yeah.
How that level of disruption compares to other teams is harder to say. I begged for 3-pointers all last season, and now we're 3 for 15, and we're losing because we can't hit a 3.
Let's see. I'm looking at the NCAA sports website,
Nice take.
and it says who is eligible. All NCAA Division I fall and winter sports athletes are eligible for an extra year of eligibility. So there you go, Sean. Everyone can come back for another year.
One of the interesting questions that I think all Cal sports will face is, if every single player at the University of Georgia is told they get an extra year of eligibility, Georgia will find classes for them to take. If Cal athletes are told by the NCAA, hey, you can stay on campus for another year and play sports, is Cal going to find classes for them to take after graduation? What is that going to look like?
Well, they probably
I wonder if they staggered like their course load for the last 2 semesters when they realized like this year was kind of a wash. So they'll have enough credits to just be eligible for the fall. At least for football. Basketball, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, it might depend on the player. Some guys might be thinking ahead of time about where they can grad transfer to.
Yeah, either that or, I guess what you could do is probably take a minor, right, in something else and just work towards that. And you could probably stay an extra year if you manage your course distribution a little bit.
Yeah, you can like stagger your course load. So you have like just like one class left you need to complete in the fall or the spring. Mm-hmm. Berkeley doesn't like kick you out if you don't as long as you have some requirements left.
Oh, I would love to have Andre take that. Yeah, I don't mind him taking. He should have just taken that 3. I don't mind him taking that 3 at all.
Andre Kelly?
Yeah. He was just wide open on the screen up top, and instead he does a handoff to Bradley, and then gets called for the moving screen. So I'd much rather him just take that shot.
A 3 is better than a turnover. I won't argue with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, do you want a Cal women's update?
Sure.
It is 32-27 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Cal up?
San Jose State.
Yeah, that's a little scary. San Jose State has historically been bad in women's basketball. I haven't looked at them this year. Maybe they're better than usual.
They're currently employing a 1-3-1 zone, and Cal is not figuring it out.
I'm of course now retroactively mad that these games are starting at the same time. That's of course just classic Cal.
Nick, I dropped you the stat broadcast link for the women's game if you want to.
Thanks.
See it.
Who do you think the leading scorer is, Nick? Before you go,
I would have guessed Daniels, but looks like
6
it's Shipholtz.
Shiphold, yep.
With 8 now. That's not shocking. That is the player that Cal brought to the Pac-12 Media Days. What I'm seeing is that Cal still can't shoot from deep.
Yep.
Although neither can San Jose State. Why has San Jose State taken 14 more shots than the Bears?
Whoa.
That'll be due to the 19 turnovers. San Jose State has 4.
Okay. Well, it's going to be. We knew that this was going to be the first year of a rebuilding year. The depth of it is maybe a little more frightening than I imagined.
Nearly turnover number 20, but
our thing about eligibility, Sean says senior year players classes usually are extremely easy or held off until that semester. So.
Well, see, there was a shift in how Cal handled academics that happened after I don't know if scandal is the right word, the failure of the Tedford administration to graduate and help their players stay eligible. When that happened, Cal had a hard swing towards taking academics really seriously throughout the athletic department, and not to manage it in a way that's best for success on the court. They managed it to graduate their players, and it wouldn't surprise me if that results in some people graduating and then finding out that they need to go somewhere else to keep playing college sports if that's what they want to do.
Ooh, Bears go zone and they go with a 3/4 court trap. Oh,
interesting,
Yeah.
but maybe not a great sign about how well our
Yeah.
defense is going.
Well,
There were 10 NBA draft picks in the Pac-12 last year.
Yeah.
This year, sorry.
Yeah.
Was
I was
Pac-12
surprised
good
how
last
Lake
year?
Manion went.
It was
No.
who did we have? We had Tyler Bay, we had Tyrell Terry, we had
Well, that tells you there, like, how good was the Pac-12? Well, Stanford had the 31st pick in the NBA draft, and they lost to Cal twice.
I mean, when you have a prowler like Mark Fox, I mean,
To be clear, the Pac-12 was actually they might have been a little bit better in the SEC, but this game is slipping away from us.
Yeah, a little bit.
The things that Oregon State was doing well have gotten worse. They're getting open. They're crashing the boards.
Yeah, Oregon State has
Yeah,
definitely picked it up.
shadowing Bradley.
And they've definitely picked it up defensively, whereas we have not.
yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of height on Oregon State, especially on the defensive end, where it's really hard for us to get like clean looks.
Well, there's a foul. Let's see. We had Pac-12 draft picks. Number 16, Isaiah Stewart from Washington. Number 18, Josh Green from Arizona. Number 22, Zeke Naji from Arizona. Number 26, Peyton Pritchard from Oregon. 28, Jaden Daniels from Washington. 31, Tyrell Terry from Stanford. 36, Tyler Bay from Colorado. 46, CJ Ellaby from Washington State. 48, Nico Mannion from Arizona. And that was it.
That's an impressive 4 NBA draft picks on teams that missed the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Well, technically they all missed it. Oregon was the only team out of that batch that was going to make it, right? Maybe Arizona.
No, they announced the field.
Yeah, the field was well.
Oh, they
just-
announced it?
Yeah, they just didn't get to play the games.
Really? Oh,
Wait,
didn't realize they
okay,
announced
hold
it.
up.
I thought they
Okay,
didn't.
I'm sorry. I was looking at something here. Ken Palm lists tournament seeds from the consensus at Bracket Matrix, which is usually pretty good.
Weren't all done.
run by a Cal
So-
guy. Bracket Matrix is a Cal
Yeah.
operation.
So Bracket Matrix had Oregon as a 4 seed and the other 5 schools as various middling seeds, 7 through 10. And then Stanford, Washington, and Washington State, of course, all were nowhere near the NCAA tournament.
Come on, Bears. Starting to make that comeback. Let's do this.
All right, Oregon State. Wait, I guess that was deflected. Looked like they just threw the ball away, but gave it back to them.
Yeah, Bradley kind of forced that step back 3-point attempt.
Oh man, they're going with a high zone. Holy moly. There it is. Attack the man. Force the collapse. No, that's not a good look. That was probably our worst offensive position right here that's about to come up for you, Nick.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
There was zero motion, zero movement. Everyone's stagnant, just like waiting in their spots with Matt Bradley with the ball in his hands on the wing. Like, that's it. Collapse, don't foul. Lord, can we get a rebound? Oh my goodness. What is going on? Oh, that's a foul on Oregon State? Oh, okay, I'll take it. Never mind. Good job, guys.
Single digits
Good
with
job.
12 minutes.
Yeah, 8-point game with 12 minutes to play? Heck yeah.
Promise
We're
has been sitting at 8 for a while now.
Yes.
Right. For the last
Like,
like
missing
2.5
our-
minutes. Roar.
Well, there's Kwame.
Well, at least he took a shot.
All right.
Oh, they're-
Third attempt goes in for Kelly. That's what you need.
Oh, there.
We
Oh,
got
there's.
generous on the jump ball call on that previous possession. Could have been Kelly over the back pretty easily.
I'm
Yeah,
not
the
gonna
Beavers are
lie
one for their
though.
last 9. That's how they're within 6 right now.
That Kwani layup was. I don't know what that was. it was. It was all over the place. I'm trying to give them a little taste of their own medicine by going press, but does not work. Oh no! Come on, Mikhail. You can't. Oh, I don't know if that was his assignment or he should have called it out. But come on, man. All right. As we go to the under 12 timeout, let me change out the score.
It was interesting to see Kwani play the sort of the high point center man in the zone breaking scheme.
Yeah, I mean, he has the height to do it. I think that was a mismatch there because the guy on him definitely was not as 6'10 as Kwani is.
Yeah, it seems
Oh.
like Fox is trying out a lot of stuff.
Yep, Matt Bradley 4 of 14. That's not going to cut it for us. And 1 of 7 from 3.
Yeah, usually you beg him to take more threes, but once in a while he has that night.
Whereas Kelly was quiet, 8 points, 4 of 8 from the field with 5 rebounds. Not too bad in just 17 minutes. What do you think, guys? Do you think Cal's a better 3-point shooting team than what we're seeing today? Or and
Almost certainly.
They're just not
I mean,
shooting.
Yeah, I
today?
think with
You
Bradley's
can't be
defense
worse
over
than
the last 2
today.
seasons.
So we're 4 from 17 from 3,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 of those have come from Matt Bradley, who's probably the best pure shooter, but he's 1 of 7. Grant's 0 for 4. He has a track record of being better than that. The guys who we want to be taking threes are taking threes. What do you do when they don't fall?
Yeah, with Bentley, Bradley, and Foreman, I mean, if they're not better than this, then yeah, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah. What's Bentley doing so far? 2 of 4, 2 of 3 from 3. He's actually our best 3-point shooter right now. But he's sitting with 3 personal fouls, so understandably so.
Currently at 0.9 points per possession, which I think would, not.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it feels-
us or Oregon State.
Oregon State's at 1.1, I think.
Yeah, the defense has not been great.
I do. Oh my goodness, I do not.
Yeah, that's just a really bad miss.
Holy moly, Mikhail.
Yeah, and he hit one, 2 minutes ago?
Yeah, and this one was a bad miss.
Yeah, exactly. But I sort of expected this with the first basketball in ages.
Yeah.
When did Cal realize they were playing this game?
Well, they flew out yesterday.
But no, I mean, like, when was Oregon State, confirmed?
Yesterday.
I know, it's like football all over again.
Is Cal going to play a normal game this year?
I don't know. Well, so Colorado State canceled last week, and I think that Oregon State and Cal were scrambling to find someone who would fly out to Corvallis to be a part of this. But I think they couldn't find a team last minute. So since they're all there, they just said, all right, we'll just play each other. So they're playing each other. And I think Oregon State actually is not playing tomorrow. Because how it was supposed to run is Cal was supposed to play Colorado State today. They were supposed to play Nicholls State today. And then we were supposed to swap opponents tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think Oregon State is just not playing a game, and then they're going to pick up probably another game against like Portland State or one of those Oregon schools.
Okay, fair enough.
So, considering we have to play, a Pac-12 opponent with a 24-hour turnaround again in a different sport.
They're supposed to play Northwest in 2 days. So Northwest is going to get the joy of getting shellacked 2 days in a row.
San Jose's state lead is increased to 7.
Today is looking like a bad day.
Cal has no one in double digits yet. Oof, that was just a wide open 3.
I'm going to keep my optimism up a little bit. We still have 10 minutes to play. Boys can turn it around, but...
Yeah, Rob, have we broadcast a win yet?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, I
guess we watched Stanford lose, so that's going to be fun.
I mean, to be fair, too, like the UCLA game was like, that's a mulligan. The Oregon State game for sure, that was like a loss.
Yeah, so Cal is now, just going back to the women's game, 14 of 38 from the field, 20 turnovers, 9 assists.
Well, we got 18 people watching us, 9 on Periscope, 7 on YouTube. If you're watching on Periscope, I highly recommend you switch over to YouTube. It's easier to chat with us that way, unless you have like a Periscope account. Then you can't like comment to us and talk to us. So if you want to switch over, youtube.com/Right for California, or just search Right for California on the YouTube search bar. And you should be able to find us. All right. Here we go. Starting back up. Lord. Yeah, we can't grab a defensive rebound to save our life today. And then they call that foul on Andre. Like that, come on.
I was going to say.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and then the pick and pop.
I don't even know what the foul is. Like, is he saying he bumped him with his hip?
Yeah, no, there've been a lot of touch fouls.
The Pac-12 refs in mid-season form.
Mark Fox is going to be irate about the inability to secure the defensive glass in the post game. I have no doubt.
Mm-hmm. How many offensive rebounds have we given up this game? Get up 11 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, that'll lose you a game.
God, that and we can't get a bucket.
Yeah, I thought Grant did the right thing there, and then he missed this mid-range shot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're losing 2 of the 4 factors. How's the free throws going?
We're winning, but we're taking less shots too.
Yeah, low volume for sure.
7 of 8, whereas they're 7 of 11.
Nice flare screen for Oregon State.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Who's number 2 for Oregon State? Because I think I hate him.
Yeah, I'm not certain why Kelly isn't starting. Like, he definitely looks like the more effective post player.
I mean, let's see. What's the minute distribution there? It's
I think if you asked Mark Fox about it, what he would tell you is that, in fact, Andre Kelly is, in his mind, the best center on the team, but that he tries to stagger it so that, like, Kelly can come in and lead the second unit.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly has 19 minutes on the game. Lars only has 10. So even though Lars, quote unquote, started, I don't think it's a start. Hirschcraft asks, is the score still 52-43? No, the score is actually 43-56. I would update it, but that means I would have to update it constantly after every score, which is really difficult. So I'm trying to update it at every timeout. It's a lot harder to do football or basketball score than it is to do a football score.
We just need a scorekeeper in here.
Yeah, just constantly yelling out the score. It's like, hey Alexa, what's the score of the Cal game?
It'd be like
Lars. Yeah, so Lars is on the floor for how many minutes? A couple,
10.
9 minutes. His usage rate was 7 or 8. It's pretty low. Whereas Kelly's at 16%.
Oh no, come on, man. You gotta push the spacing a bit more. I mean, I like the move, but I think that's just game time, really.
So I'm calling an audible, and I'm going to be watching the women's basketball game on the hopes that they can pull it out, because I am not super confident about the men the way they've looked this second half.
Wow, they cannot buy a rebound. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
I'm gonna join you. I'll join you in a minute, Nick. They're down by 5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes left.
Well, I guess Alex and I will hold it down for the men's game. You guys can watch the women's, keep us updated what's going on there.
Yeah.
And then you guys will probably switch over once the women game is done.
I mean, the effort is high for Cal. They're just not finishing their possessions.
Is that a foul on Lars? I don't understand what he did. What's the call? Wait, what? Like, how is that a foul?
So timeout the women's game. Yeah, it looks like Cal has, I'm looking at the stats correctly.
The stat broadcast is in the private chat, Avi, if you want to go look at that for the women's
No,
game.
no, I've got it. Yeah, so it looks like the Bears have had 19 layup attempts and they missed 11 of them.
I mean, if you ask me, like, now the stream refuses to start, no matter how many times I click play. I have watched more than a few Cal women's basketball games in my life where a team full of really talented freshmen clearly have no idea how to yet play offense together.
Okay.
I would go ahead and say it was a hallmark of the Lindsay Gottlieb era. And it's a little disappointing that I guess that's still the case.
Okay, DJ. All
Yeah,
right.
go for the bucket. That's
Yeah. I mean, that was huge. That box out right after he hard rolled to the rim. That was nice.
Oops.
Avi's messing with the settings. He's like typing in other
Right.
things.
buckets on consecutive possessions. That one to Bradley, not bad.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Are we
Okay.
back within 10?
Well,
Well, 12.
And that's something. At least we broke our scoring drought.
I'll let you know when we get within 8.
boy, another just not very hard foul.
Nick, who are freshmen for the women?
There are many of them.
Sam is like the one that I really like.
I can read
Yes.
them off. It's Daniels, Muka, Sam, Onyaya, and Heidi are all freshmen.
Got it. So Daniels is leading with 9 points and 11 rebounds. Actually, a really good game from her. Sam has struggled 0-4, 5 turnovers. Olsen has 4 turnovers. Daniels also has 4 turnovers.
Interesting
yeah.
that we're getting minutes from walk-on Archer Olsen. I don't know if she got a scholarship this year or not, but
23 minutes for Olsen.
that is surprising.
Yeah, I guess Sharman's still trying to go with, I guess, more experience to start in terms of just like age.
Or it could be just trying everyone, just like what Mark Fox is doing in this game. Just giving everyone some form of game time. Like, cause both for Cal women's and men's, this game counts. Whereas, like for Cal, the game against Northwest tomorrow is an exhibition, so it won't count towards their win-loss.
Got it.
Usually it's the opposite, right? Usually you have an exhibition game before you lead into your first game that counts. But because this is the first game that counts, but it's their first game nonetheless, I think they're just throw everyone out there, give them some game time.
Nice play by Cal women, but they missed another layup. Like
Yeah,
a point blank layup.
that was Archer Olsen on the back cut.
Yeah. They've out rebounded San Jose State. Oh no, they haven't. Sorry. San Jose State has 20 offensive rebounds. It's pretty dead even on the rebounding slate. San Jose State is 4 of 24 from 3.
Yeah, the numbers illustrate a pretty ugly game to watch. Oh, and they airball a shot. I fear to look at the points per possession once I add it up after the game.
It is 0.69. I'm not even joking. It's 0.69. Not nice.
Not nice. Not nice at all.
Yeah, I haven't really looked. It looks, but my sense is that the men's rotation has really winnowed in the second half. They're not playing nearly as many guys. Like we haven't seen. I guess DJ Thorpe did get into the game.
Yeah, he's still in.
Yeah.
So they tried to throw an inbounds pass
Yeah, it was
down the
bad.
middle of the court. Yeah, that was unideal.
Foreman seems like the perfect type of grad transfer you want, where it's like he doesn't look to overtake the offense, but he does enough things for you where you can play him either at the 1 or the 2. As he misses that layup, as I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe I should not talk about him.
Oh, nice steal by McIntosh. Oof. And she did she get the and one?
I think must have been, yeah.
Yeah, and one for McIntosh. Okay.
Ah,
big
yes.
bucket.
Yes, as Mikhail Foreman flails from that moving screen and gets the call.
Bears within 2, under 3 minutes left in the women's game.
14-point game with 6:37 left to play. And Mikhail Foreman turnovers again.
Cal women in the 2-3 zone.
I should have just not talked about Mikhail.
Yeah.
I feel like after I talked about him, he misses a layup and then he turns it over. So
Oh, nice. Nice job, San Jose State. They attempt another 3. Then I think, is San Jose State in the penalty? Yep, free throws.
it's gonna be a long 2.5 minutes, gents, for that women's game.
The men, it's frustrating for the men. I was encouraged by what they did in the first half, but the second half has been as discouraging.
Well, we haven't created turnovers, which was our biggest part of the offense in the first half.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's 5-0 Oregon State in this half for turnovers, so not good for Cal.
Yikes.
As Mikhail knocks down the 3.
Yeah, he needed that one. He hit one a while ago. But
Let's go. All right, 11-point game. And then
Fox
I should
wants timeout.
I should really just stop talking. Man, that is a tough jumper to knock down from Lucas, too. Like, Mikhail was all over him. 5:31 left.
Wow. San Jose State has not shot threes well all game, and they keep on trying to attempt them. And they just attempted a 3 on a double team on Cal defense and airballed it.
Time to take the lead.
At least
Bears
there's
down
no
1 with the
fan-
ball.
2.5 left.
Oh, man,
And Cal is still getting like good looks, like almost every possession if they don't turn it over, which they nearly do. And they're able to get back. Oh, 3 goes in and out.
That was Daniels.
Daniels.
Not thrilled with sort of the pounded inside to Christine offense without Christine on the floor.
Yeah, they have not really diverted from that in the last couple of years. I mean,
Like I get it when you've got 6'5" future WNBA player in the middle of the court. Yeah, throw it to her. I don't think
Yeah.
they have a player like that this year.
no, and they tried to do it again. Couldn't find anything. Settled for a pull up too, and San Jose State gets it back. Oh, and big shot for them. 3-point game.
well, that is a weird sequence of events. Oh,
Yeah, Brown had the nice steal there. Oh, ends up in a Thorpe bucket, so I'll take it.
yeah.
Thorpe
I don't know.
bucket.
did they not see Joel Brown? Like he like snuck into that passing lane off the inbounds, like just
Yeah,
that
he has good
outlet pass.
instincts, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. DJ is without a doubt our highlight reel dunker. Like he can get up.
Well, and he should play. I mean,
He's our most athletic big, like with his feet and everything, and he's probably our best shot blocker because he can jump so high.
San Jose State fouls Cal again on their side of the court. So
Ooh,
more
good
free
defense,
throws.
DJ. Good defense.
yeah, but Bentley made a boneheaded turnover there.
Oh no.
My
Oh,
recollection from late last year is I started to wonder why Lars got so much playing time and DJ got so little.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I'm going to start wondering that
again.
immediately this year too.
Oh, Ryan Bentley. Oh,
Yeah, he buried that one.
hello. It is a 10-point game with 4 minutes left to play.
Woo! Cal gets 1 of 2 free throws. It's a 2-point game with a minute left. San Jose State up 2.
Has anyone in the history of live streaming tried to live stream and talk about 2 games at the same time? Because that is exactly what we're
sure.
doing here.
And thanks
Hey,
to
we're-
Cal Athletics scheduling, we will continue to try to do it for the next decade.
Oh, another offensive rebound for San Jose State. Oof, and the foul. Or no, timeout, it looks like. Okay.
Ooh, that could have been looked like a elbow on Leilani, but
Yeah, it was close. They called the timeout before that.
so since you piqued my curiosity, I had to look. Well, so last year DJ Thorpe and Lars Tiemann were probably equally deficient offensively. And so it's more of a question of which one has been able to grow on either end of the floor.
I mean, it's clear like the athleticism is there with DJ, but you have the size better with Lars, where as the 7-footer, all he needs to do is just stand straight up, and that's incredibly difficult to shoot over. Versus DJ is probably better if you're playing a pick and roll team because he's quicker on his feet and can get up a little bit more. So
Yeah. Lars
see.
finished at the basket a little bit better than DJ did last year, but
mhm.
Lars also turned it over at a higher rate too. So, it might be a wash in the end.
Yeah, Lars is a better rebounder and an unnecessary foul by Cal women. I think they still have 1 more to give.
Where they're down 2 with 45 seconds.
Yeah.
You said Lars was a better rebounder than DJ?
Oh, not today. He is.
Oh, yeah. Last year, DJ had a higher rebounding percentage, but
Yeah.
the sample sizes are so small that it's hard to say if that's meaningful.
Yeah, now for some reason Cal fouls again. I guess they're just going to try for the 1-on-1.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Lars has 10 minutes of play and only had 3 rebounds, whereas Thorpe has 2 rebounds in 6 minutes of play. So, in terms of rate, DJ is better.
Yeah, he had a higher rate last year,
Yeah.
but again, it was a marginal improvement and in marginal minutes. So,
I mean, Lars has barely played this second half.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He played that first possession. It's like a mirror image of the first half where we went inside to Lars to start the half and start the game, and then we went away from that fully. It's like Bill Musgrave calling the run play just to set up the play action when it doesn't, and when the run doesn't work.
San Jose State gets both free throws. It's a 4-point game. Cal timeout.
so either that was a really accidental foul that hurts, or
There's the rebound, boys. Thank you.
or we
Yeah.
fouled somebody
Yeah,
we
good
thought
D
was a
by
bad
DJ.
shooter and got unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
mean,
think they were trying for the 1-on-1, right? It's still a 1-on-1 sequence.
No,
All
there's
right,
no one. You mean going 2 for 1, or
No, like
it-
the one, like if they miss the first, like
Oh, but women's basketball doesn't have 1-on-1s anymore.
oh, they got rid of those.
Yeah,
Well, that's a
Okay.
good pass. Yes, here we go. 8-point game, gents. 8-point game.
It was a long 2.
It looked like a long. Well,
Yeah,
at
they
least that's
gave
from
him
the stat broadcast is giving him a long 2. I'm sure they'll look at it at the next timeout.
Yeah, they gave him 2, but I just was curious.
Yeah.
see,
We'll see.
We're making history. We're simultaneously broadcasting two stirring but failed comeback attempts.
This is like left Twix and right Twigs.
The same but different.
Well, it makes sense because we have an Asian and a Caucasian on watching one game, and an Asian and a Caucasian watching the other game. It's pretty much how it works.
Diversity and privilege. 38 seconds left. Cal ball.
Okay. The Bears get it back.
Here we go. Let's
Joel
see what
Brown.
direction they're going to get. They run it to the sideline. Oh, no.
Nobody's running to the inbounder.
What just happened? What was that?
A says he thinks it should be a 3. I agree. I think that should be a 3, and I'm sure they'll look at it at the next timeout.
Again, they passed to the middle. Oh, my goodness. Just nothing.
And the
Cal
Bears
for
are going to
foul.
shoot free throws.
Yeah,
I
Kelly,
think.
a chance to make it a 6-point game. But he missed the first.
Yeah.
Well,
Or in the only.
So- San Jose State is in good shape now. 27 seconds left at the line.
That's a stupid foul, too.
Yeah, that was a bad sequence. They missed the front end of the 1-and-1 and then
They
foul.
give him the rebound, and then we foul on the steal attempt by Matt. Oh,
I agree.
hate
They
that.
should get rid of the 1-and-1.
Yeah.
So, Avi, I'm going to have to go and look, but I think that Cal was playing two walk-ons on that possession.
That it feels like it. Who was the other walk on?
So I believe I'm going to have to double check the numbers, but I believe Archer Olsen and Sierra Ritchie were both on the court for that play. And unless something has changed about the Cal roster, they are.
Come on,
let's
you
see, it was
Bears.
22.
Yeah, Olsen was on the floor for sure. I don't know if
Come on, you Bears.
Wow, Foreman. With a
Come on, you Bears.
Nice bucket. You faked the
As
3.
Nick frantically figures out what he wants to watch to end the day.
Well, it's 7-0 run for Cal. Brought them within 6 and 2 minutes left.
I really need to set up my house so that my computer and my TV are both pointed in the same direction.
Yeah, my girlfriend laughs at me when I have a game on the TV and the iPad and the phone.
The Bears currently the men's team on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 10, four of their last 4 field goals, whereas Oregon State is on a scoring drought for the last 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And
What's
it is now a 6-point game.
what's the defensive lineup we've thrown out? Has there been like anything in particular?
No, they've gone with the 1 forward, 4 guard attempt. They've gone with the 1 center and then the 1 forward and 3 guard attempt. They've done a whole bunch of stuff, and we've also gone zone. We've gone 3-quarter press. We've gone man. So we're throwing out everything, which I don't mind. Some has worked better than others, but I don't mind it at all. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
tough
we've had Foreman on the floor. It looks like for this.
Yep.
for this little run. Yep.
Yeah, he and Bentley have been on the court for a while.
Oh, that's
Wow.
a foul. Yes, give it to him, baby. Matt Bradley fouled shooting 3. He's shooting 3 at the line
That's
to
the
make it a
second time
3-point
this
game.
game, right?
Yep, that's the second one this game.
Why are they going to pull this a comeback off?
Well, it's 8
What's
points
the-
now, but could be 5.
Oh, that's an iffy call, but I will take it.
Yeah,
That's a very
calls
iffy call.
everywhere.
Yeah, because his hand tapped as he was letting go of the ball, so it's that high 5 play. Come on, Matt. What are they looking at? They're looking at time. All right.
He was clearly
Matt,
behind the line.
yeah, Matt makes 1. Matt makes 2. I'm following the stat broadcast on this. My stream is way behind this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like a second behind the stats.
Yeah. And will he make the 3rd, or is it a timeout? Or did they only give him 2?
No,
Oh, they did. Okay, they give him 3. Okay, they give
Yeah,
him
this
3.
is the 3rd one right now.
Boom.
It's good. 5-point game. Minute
All
38
right,
left.
all right. Let's do this. Let's do this.
2 stops, 2 buckets. There's time.
Yeah, they're swarming on Letitia.
You get a sense of how far behind I am. Matt is taking his first free throw right now.
Yeah. No,
Same.
that's me if I watch on the iPad instead of the TV, definitely.
OSU misses.
Oh, bad turnover, Kelly. Or is it off OSU? Oh, if it's off OSU, that's fine. Yeah.
San Jose State wins 56-48. Tough loss for the Bears to start.
Oh, that
the
is a
season.
rough no call. Holy, for Oregon State. No, that's
So one
gonna
of
be
the
off. Are they going to say off Oregon State? Oh, they're going to say off Oregon State. Okay. Phew.
one of the underrated women's basketball storylines might be the fact that they recruited all these great post players, but if you don't have guards to get them the ball, that can be a problem.
23 turnovers for Cal today.
Yeah, that may speak to that.
Oh,
One of the-
Foreman in and out.
No.
It was a deep 3 too.
Yeah.
Oh, jump ball. Interesting.
I don't think they
But
they saw who it came off of. I don't know what the refs are watching, but
Oh, they got lucky that they didn't call a foul on Grant on the previous defensive possession. And maybe they got lucky that they got
There's
the
some-
ball on the inbounds.
well, held ball. The ball. I think the Bears get it. Nope, they do not get it back. What are they saying? What? What's the call? They called the jump ball, but why is the ref talking to the scoreboard?
Yeah, they are giving it to the Beavers.
Shouldn't it? Who won the tip?
They have possession right now. So
Shouldn't it be Cal ball? Am I mistaken? Didn't the Beavers win the tip, or did we win the tip?
no, since I'm so far behind you guys, prior to the jump ball being called, the possession arrow was towards Oregon State.
Okay, that
So
makes
I don't know
sense.
what
Yeah,
the controversy is. It should just be easy
just give it to Oregon State.
inbounds to Oregon State. Yeah.
Well, this one's going down to the wire.
Is there anybody on Oregon State who's a crummy enough free throw shooter to justify fouling them right now?
Right now, everyone's shooting above 50%, at least the ones that are on the field. Lucas is 6 of 6, so. And Lucas is the one that's taking the free throws.
Great.
And he makes both. It is a 7-point game
Yeah, that's probably it.
with 55 seconds. Yeah, that's probably going to do it.
So Anticevic had 10 rebounds today and a defensive rating of 88. So doing pretty well on the defensive end.
Well, individually, there were some good defensive performances. As a whole, as a team, there were some massive breakdowns.
Yeah, it looks like I'm trying to look at the defensive ratings or the offensive ratings here. Yeah, Alatish offensive rating of 125.
Oh, Lord.
Richel 123. Hollins 117.
Is that a foul? Thank you. Okay. I don't mind. I mean, nothing of
What-
this game is like too upsetting. Like last season, there were a lot of moments like that where it was just like, oh my God, well, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled about the defense. With the offense, what you're seeing is this is a team that lives and dies with Matt Bradley.
Yep.
Matt Bradley had a rough day from the field, and I think it speaks actually to how good Matt Bradley has become, that even on a day that he was clearly off, he still got his.
Yeah. Still
Uh,
got
10 of
21.
11 from the free throw line. Drew, I think, 11 fouls.
Yeah, so I mean, he made things happen, but he missed his shots from the field. If he makes his shots from the field, then this
It'll-
game is at least a coin flip down the stretch. Maybe Cal has a slight lead.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the biggest thing Bradley has to get better at is just like if the shot isn't falling, he just needs to maybe be a little bit more aggressive going into the basket. I mean, he's not like because he clearly can get fouls. Like,
Yeah, well, and it sounds like that's kind of what he did today. You know,
yeah,
Wow, that's a good look for McHale.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great look. I think those will fall come a couple more games in.
So he had the 3 rim out when Cal was down 5. I think
another-
that just happened again.
Yeah, he had another. This one wasn't a rim out. It was just it hit iron and came clanging back off. But it was a good look. He got open. He made the right play. And Bentley, it was a screen on Bentley, and then he leaked out off to the wing, and Bentley just threw him over the top and gave it to him for the 3, and it was a good look.
Yeah, Bradley 1 of 7 from 3, Foreman 2 of 7 from 3, and that's basically game.
I mean, that's basically what it is. We were talking about Matt Bradley's 3-point shooting, right? It's like if he makes 2 more of his threes, which he usually does, that's like a pretty standard Matt Bradley line of maybe 3 or 4 of 7 from behind the arc. Like, we're in this game. It's a 1-point game. So, unfortunate, but I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this game was awful as a starting point. The bad news is that it doesn't get any easier in the conference.
Well,
Or even
technically
in
it does.
non-conference play.
Well, unless if you're, are you considering Nicholls State a hard coin flip?
Oh, yeah, I just meant in conference play. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Nicholls State, yeah, it's pretty much the only easy win on the schedule.
Yeah,
for a non-exhibition game.
That's a terrible pass from McHale. Holy moly!
Yeah, his court vision is not what he's known for.
Yeah. Joel Brown and Monty Bowser, I think, their court vision solid.
We don't have a lot to go on with Bowser, but from what little we saw, yeah, there were some positives there.
Mm-hmm.
Cal would only 9 assists today.
Oh,
did we create any turnovers in the second half from Morgan State? Because I feel like we didn't.
Yeah,
We got on 1 or 2. I don't think we got much.
Oregon State had 4 turnovers in the second half, 9 in the first.
Yeah, and that's where we got most of our points too. What was it? We had like 14 or 16 points off of turnovers in the first half, and we ended with 20. So like at most it was what 6 points, 6 or 8 points off of turnovers in the second half.
Yeah, and it was 0 turnovers for a while. Like the second half of the period, there were more of them.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that's worth noting with this second half, we basically played a 6-man rotation of Bentley, Brown, Anticevich, Bradley, Foreman, and Kelly. Only maybe 7 if you want to count DJ Thorpe's 6 minutes. And I think that's probably more typical of what we're going to see from Mark Fox when the season moves along is more like a 7-man rotation.
Yeah, I think the short rotation, I think it was helpful to lead the comeback, but I think again, like Cal just needs to get a better sense of like who their 7 or 8 best guys are, because that's a lot to ask what Bradley and Tisevich to play almost the entire second half.
I guess as we wrap up, like for Alex and for Nick, since the 3 of us watched the game like fully, if you were to pick a 7 or 8 man rotation, like who's that rotation for you from what you saw today?
Well, I suppose I would draw a line between what I think Mark Fox will do and what maybe my personal preference would be. I mean, obviously Foreman and Bentley are going to get minutes. Matt Bradley is your go-to guy. Those 3 guys at the guard spots, and then Joel Brown. Those 4 guards will for sure get a ton of playing time.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the post side of things, Grant is going to get the bulk of the minutes. And then two of the 3 centers are probably going to, like Andre Kelly is going to get his minutes, 25 or 30 a night. And it's an open question about like, is Tiemann going to play a lot? Is Thorpe going to play a lot behind them? Are they mostly going to sit and maybe Cal will have more 4 or 5 out lineups? Probably not, based on Mark Fox's track record. I think to me the biggest question rotation-wise for Cal's ceiling is, can DJ Thorpe and Lars Thiemann provide positive minutes? I
Yeah,
don't know the answer to that question yet.
What over you, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, you could see definitely in the second half when they were within range of coming back, he kept the shooters on the floor. He kept Foreman and Betley out there. Fox did. So, I mean, you'll probably see a lot of them anyway, but definitely when they're within range and a couple of threes might make a big difference. They're staying out, whether they're defensively up to it or not. And I know he subbed out Betley for a defensive possession or two, maybe, but yeah, not a lot.
Yeah, I think you guys have pretty much nailed it. I honestly expected to see the other guys a bit more in the second half. Like I wanted to see Bowser and Kwani a little bit more. I thought we would because we saw them so much in the first quarter or first half, but we barely saw any of the freshmen play in the second half. So
yeah, I wonder if they stayed way behind, if Fox would have done a little bit more mixing and matching.
Right. I guess that's the, could Kwani and or Monty made a few more shots than Mikhail missed? Like who knows? I hope we do get a bit more youth when we play Northwest tomorrow. I hope like you get to see a bit more of Kwani, you get to see a bit more of Monty. I want to see them in the lineup with some of the starters a bit more and see what that rotation looks like. If you have Matt Bradley in there alongside a Joel Brown and then a Kwani and a Monty Bowser, like defensively, like that should be on paper with the length and the size, like a stellar lineup.
Yeah,
But-
the second game right away, I think you will see more bench depth being used.
Considering it's an exhibition game too, right?
Sure.
Like it doesn't count against Northwest.
I'm looking at the box score and trying to pick out why we lost this game, and there's basically two things that stand out. Oregon State got a few too many second chances.
Few?
And I mean, what we're talking about here is Oregon State managed 6 more offensive rebounds than we did, and 5 more second chance points. It's a difference, but it's not like a game shattering difference.
Mhm.
It could all have been easily made up if we hit from 3. And so for me, it's deeply, deeply ironic that after an entire year of complaining about Cal not taking enough threes, they probably lose their first game of the year because they took and missed a lot of threes. And I didn't see many threes in the game that I disliked in terms of shot selection.
They just weren't falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bradley had that one step back that he forced, but maybe he had to force it based on the possession.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, it feels like a little bit more sense of optimism than negativity from what we saw today. Granted, it's a loss, but from the motions we saw, like how the offense was run, I mean, the one thing that I think all of us can agree on is Mark Fox at least knows somewhat how to coach defense. And if that part comes up to par, and this offense maybe knocks down a couple more points with the style of offense that we're seeing run, there's actually a bit more optimism for this year than I would say.
I hope
would have
so.
predicted.
It'll be interesting to see, as we get more court time and evidence, to what extent the grad transfers are defensive pluses or defensive minuses.
Mhm.
That's always a concern when you have guys transferring from smaller schools. How will they hold up defensively? And so we might be in a weird situation where the new guys help out on offense. They're both excellent shooters, but end up being a problem defensively because maybe they just don't have the athleticism to hold up against Pac-12 level athletes.
Mhm.
So that's something to watch as well.
Yeah, I think we'll get some more sense of it tomorrow. Hopefully.
I don't know how much I'll take away from a game against a team, as a university I didn't know existed until a week ago.
Yeah.
but I'll take what I can get.
That's how you always want to spend your Thanksgiving, pulling Northwest.
Well,
They're my 2 favorite cardinal directions.
Northwest. Well, I think that's a good place to call it, gents. Bears lose today, 71-63, but we'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. against Northwest. I don't know how many of us will be on. I will probably try to be on. I think people are having fun with this. So on
What time is
Thanksgiving,
tip?
3 p.m.
Yeah, I will not be around for that.
Yeah. I'll probably be on with a. No, I won't have my plate of turkey because I'm going to eat that for dinner. So, yeah, we'll be around 3 p.m. on this site right here. As John Paxton says, we look better today in our first game than our first football game. Considering the fact that both games had 24-hour turnarounds in terms of opponent, not bad. Not bad. If I don't see you tomorrow, gents, enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
And we'll see you for the big game on Friday.
Later, everybody.
Good night. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.